Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the 143. We're back with episode 80. That's right. We've been doing this for 80 weeks straight. No signs of slowing down.
That's right. And as we alluded to earlier, this is going to be our episode that has to do with gambling. That has been a recent issue in the NFL. Players have been getting caught. There have been some suspensions being dished out. So that is our topic of discussion today.
Yeah, gambling, NFL players gambling, and just kind of the rules around that. So we'll just dive right into it. Stat of the week brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics. The stat is that since the offseason started, 9 players have been suspended for gambling violations. It's obviously that's a record high. And we'll talk more about that here in a second, but 9 players have been suspended for that.
That is a lot as compared to the past. So moving on from that, your player of the week is Justin Herbert. He just got his 5-year contract extension for $262.5 million. So that's pretty huge for him. I would say he's well worth the money. Last year, putting up 4,739 yards for 25 touchdowns. So he was extremely productive last year as a quarterback, and good for Justin. Go and chase that bag. I'd say he's well worth that extension.
Yeah, good for him getting paid. Excited to see him battle it out this season along with the rest of the quarterbacks. And so, yeah, here we go. We're going to start. This is kind of a controversial topic in the NFL. Not really controversial for us, but here we go. We're going to start us off with the quote that Nick read last week. Patriots cornerback Jonathan Jones, who was one of the players suspended, said, "I understand rules are rules, but I can risk my life so that my team wins, but I can't risk $1,000 on my team winning." Basically saying that he goes out every week and essentially, risks his life for the team, but he can't risk some of his money on his team winning. The Kelsey brothers on their podcast, New Heights, discussed this issue. Both of them are against it. But basically the rule is you are not allowed as an NFL player to gamble on the NFL, and you are not allowed to gamble, period, in team facilities. These players have broken those rules and have been suspended. I'll let Nick take it away on the controversy here.
Yes, like you said, this is kind of what's going on right now. And I guess my thought is I kind of disagree with gambling as an NFL player, even if it is gambling on yourself or your own team, just because at that point you're dabbling into, the other team possibly, like throwing the game or stinking on purpose. And that's kind of a scary thought, because then that's it. That's how it comes in and can directly affect the game. But a lot of these players have been coming out like basically saying that they're innocent because they're betting on themselves. But, that also that dabbles into maybe the other team throwing the game. And that can be a little bit scary, because that's how I think gambling could ruin the NFL if it becomes legalized or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think, first of all, like Jonathan Jones's quote, the very beginning, I understand rules are rules. Well, if you understand that the rules are the rules, then you follow the rules, So this has always been the rule. Now, gambling being sports gambling being legalized across America a few years ago kind of opened the door to a lot of. Now you can gamble from your phone. You don't have to go to a casino or a bookie, but that's why these players are doing it from the facility, which is a no-no. It doesn't matter what sport, you're not allowed to gamble from in the facility. So you would think that they would be smart enough while they're in the facility to not get on those apps and even approach that subject. But what Nick was saying, when you gamble on your team or on yourself, you're introducing just so many different things that could happen. You go in debt, and then at some point whoever you're in debt with would maybe make you throw the game to help their bettors out. I mean, you just get into a lot of dark area. Betting is and gambling is a serious I mean, it's one of those shady businesses out there. And as an NFL player representing an NFL team, as the rules state, you're not supposed to be messing with any of that. The Kelsey brothers, they were saying it's just ridiculous that players are even trying to. I mean, as a player, just accept the fact that you're playing the game and you're not allowed to mess with that stuff. That's like, it's a privilege to play the game that you're a part of at the professional level, and you have to adhere to rules, and those are the rules. So whether you like them or not, you got to follow them because, unfortunately for you, the NFL pays your paycheck. So you kind of got to listen to them and do what they say. They're your employer.
The other thing with how much money these guys are making, like they don't
Yeah,
need to gamble
right.
an extra, like I think he said 1,000 or whatever. He doesn't need to, like, this is not life or death, if he makes this money or not. But also, I mean, he literally said at the beginning of his quote that rules are rules, and he acknowledges that he knows that the rule is I can't bet while I'm on team facilities, but I mean, he just said rules are rules, and I think, I mean, I
Just
completely
killed your
agree with the
argument.
Kelsey brothers in saying that you get the privilege of playing the game that everyone respects and loves, so you don't get to bet because you're playing the game. That's just how the rules work.
Yeah, and it's just like you're saying, it just doesn't make any sense. And people love sports betting, people love gambling. So I mean, it's a hobby of some people's. So you can't, uh, like I understand that, but you cannot as a player. Like if it's a rule, you just can't mess with it. Just because it's been a rule, it always has been, it always will be. And when you start messing with that stuff, leagues, not just the NFL, but every sports league, they take that very seriously. And so you're going to be punished, and you're not allowed. I mean, you can't be surprised at that point that if you get caught, you're not like going to get punished. You have to expect to be punished at that point. It's just not something that's smart to even dabble in as a player. I mean, it's never smart to gamble, but especially as a player in one of these leagues, where there are rules against it.
Well, and I know this year there's been an uprising of sports bettors, period, kind of saying that these sports books are quote unquote fixed. So as
Hmm.
a player, if you partake in that, it makes it look super duper shady. And then it kind of gets into, is the NFL fixed? Is this,
Yep.
that, or the other fixed? So it's like if they let you gamble, then it's opening, a can of worms essentially. And it would kind of um, play with the idea of the NFL being fixed a little bit because that's always a topic of discussion when a
Yeah.
call doesn't go someone's way. But now if you were to have people betting on it, there could be a legit argument there.
I agree. So it's just not smart to be gambling. It doesn't matter who or what you're gambling on. If you are a player in the NFL, that's just, I mean, the rules say that you can't. So if you understand that the rules are the rules, then you wouldn't do that. Shifting gears here from the gambling policy, just really quick before we close, Saquon Barkley agreed on a deal worth $11 million
What
for
a
1 year.
genius. What a
It's
genius.
almost like the
Denies
deal
a
that they offered
franchise
him.
tag for like 10, 25 million
Well,
so
the
that he
long
can
term
get
deal they
a
offered him
1 year for
was a
11.
million. The long term deal was $11 million a year, just for like 4 years, I think.
So
So
yeah, I hope
he
you're
was like,
proud of
"No, I
yourself,
want one."
Saquon. You really got what he wanted. Like I hope you really
Man,
got
he
what you
he
wanted.
got him. He really got him.
He got him
He
so
had him
good,
fooled.
honestly. And here's the other thing. I could not really care any less about Saquon and this, that, and the other, because that's the Giants. That's their thing. They can deal with that. Um, doesn't really apply to us as the Cowboys. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
He the Giants were probably happy with the deal that they were able to make with Saquon Barkley because that's essentially exactly what they were paying on the franchise tag. But another signing that I got to mention, obviously Justin Herbert got signed. Trayvon Diggs today, extension, 5 years, $97 million. What's your quick take on that, Nick?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I like to be realistic here as a
Yep.
Cowboys fan. Um, I think he's a talented corner. Okay. I
Yeah.
do think he is good. I don't know if I would sit here necessarily try and preach that he's top five in the league. I think he could sneak in as a top 10. Because here's the thing. He's an interception cornerback, but the only issue is that that's really all he is. He's not known for these past, breakups. He doesn't typically hold guys to a low amount of yards. He either gets a pick six or he's given up six, unfortunately. But
He was a
I'd
liability
say that's
against San Francisco in the playoffs too.
I mean, I'd say that's an okay signing. You know, we've had our struggles in the secondary, so I mean,
Yeah, we need all the help we can get.
we need all the help we can get. We're keeping a guy that's we've seen is extremely talented, so I'm not mad about what we just did.
Not mad either. I think hopefully he's been working in the offseason on his cornerback skills because he's basically right now a wide receiver at cornerback. Um, he got exposed in San Francisco in the playoffs. The 49ers knew exactly what to do with him, and he just was a liability in that game. So hopefully he is now prepared to face the top offenses in the NFL, because it's not just about interceptions, as good as those are. We really need some real defense out there. Our secondary has been struggling for years now. But all in all, yeah, that's one of our core players. We need to keep him on to
It's like
grow the team.
when you're the cornerback one, we're expecting you to go out and be able to guard whomever the wide receiver at one is that
Yep.
week, and that's more than just getting interceptions. That's being able to, you know, keep him contained. Like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
interceptions are nice, but there's a little bit more to the game than that as a corner.
Agreed. Hopefully we can sign Zach Martin before this season starts, as he's holding out at training camp right now. But
Mm.
players reporting this week, we are not very far away from the start of the NFL season, so we're looking forward to that. And I mean, I'm just ready for it to be here.
This is officially the last month of the year without any football,
Mm-hmm.
or the last month till February or till March because February has the Super Bowl. But we are
Yep.
inching ever closer to that week one mark.
It's been too long.
So eagerly waiting. So here as we like to end our shows on Underview, I've brought you a quote from the great Vince Lombardi, and he said, "Winning is not everything, but making the effort to win is." And that's the truth.
Amen to that. Classic Vince Lombardi. We hope y'all take that with you this week, and tune in next week for another episode of Under Review.